Hey everyone, it's Steve Dangle here with a round 2 predictions video, even though round 1 is still going on and round 2 began yesterday because the playoffs began before the regular season ended. Makes a lot of sense? I thought so. Let's continue. First, we got the Boston Bruins taking on the New York Islanders. Now, we already know the Boston Bruins are leading 1-0 in this series with a 5-2 victory in Game 1. So, it does seem a little bit like cheating to pick them, doesn't it? But looking at my first round picks, this is what I would have done anyway. I had Boston beating the Washington Capitals. Granted, it was in 7 games and not 5. And I had the Islanders losing to the Pittsburgh Penguins. I thought it would be tighter than that. My goodness, I gave the Islanders some credit. I did not think the Penguins goaltending would be that bad. Game 1 was actually super tight through 2 periods. It was 2-2 after 2, but bing, bang, boom, 3 straight goals in the third. David Pastrnak with a hat trick in Game 1. I am not sure how the Islanders shut this offense down. The Boston Bruins, since the trade deadline, are one of the hottest, if not the hottest teams in the league. Taylor Hall, etc. And he got one in that game too. I, again, am going to give the Islanders credit. They're not a team you have an easy time against. I think Boston finishes them in 6, though. Moving on to our next series, the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is a fantastic series, and once again, this is what I predicted would happen, except I got both teams right this time. I had Carolina beating Nashville, although I didn't think it would be as tight as it was, and I did have Tampa beating Florida. I thought that one would be tighter than it was. With Carolina and Tampa, I think a lot of this is going to come down to officiating. We all know the story with Rod Brind'Amour from round 1, talking about the giant discrepancy in penalties between the Hurricanes and the Predators that wasn't really there. If you listen to John Hines' speech, it was very interesting. But Carolina getting the win, really some greasy wins, come from behind wins, some dominant games where they got goalied, and getting it done in the most clutch moments in overtime. So that's what's going good for them. But remember I talked about the officiating? The Tampa-Florida series, the amount of stuff that was called, the amount of stuff that was fine, the amount of stuff that was suspended, it was like 10% of what there should have been. That was the most violent first-round series of these playoffs. I cannot believe some of the things I saw. And with Carolina, there's been a little bit of the seed of doubt of, every year we think they're going to do really well. And I actually, in my first-round video, I had these two facing each other in the second round. I had Carolina winning. But after watching the first round, I'm like, uh-oh, do they have that deep playoff thing, that oomph? And for that reason, Tampa is the coward's pick because, they made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final last year. And how violent the Florida series was, they know what they can get away with. I'm not going to change my prediction because I don't want to. I'm going to stay strong here. I'm going to say Carolina in 6. If it goes 7, it'll be Tampa, but Carolina in 6. Does that make sense? I think Carolina could win a series, but I think Tampa wins the one game take all. Does that make any sense? No, I don't know, probably not. But I got Carolina anyway. Next, we have the Colorado Avalanche taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. And for me, who you think is going to win this series largely depends on how you think momentum in sports works. By the way, how huge was that last game of the season for Colorado? They lock up the President's Trophy, and they get the right to play the Blues in round 1 instead of the Wild. The Wild, obviously very worthy adversaries for the Vegas Golden Knights, pushing them all the way to 7. Colorado slaughters St. Louis in 4. They sweep them. For me, Vegas is likely to get great goaltending from whoever they put in net. They're likely to get scoring. They're likely to have pretty good defense, and having Alex Pietrangelo in there is wonderful. Yeah, it's wonderful. It ain't the Colorado Avalanche. To me, they are just an absolute wagon. This series is going to be extremely entertaining. It's going to be very tight. It's everything that I've wanted and asked for. But I'm sorry, Producer Drew, the jinx, I don't think I could jinx this. Colorado is so good this year. After they swept St. Louis and Vegas had to go 7 with the Wild, I got Colorado winning this thing. The amount of games is hard to predict. I'll say 6 because I respect Vegas, but it's also difficult to imagine Colorado losing a game at this point. In our final series, we don't even know what it is yet. The Winnipeg Jets, they swept the Edmonton Oilers in 4, and they're sitting there, they're just sitting pretty. They're just having, I don't know, pina coladas. They're doing whatever. They're resting up and they're healing their wounds from the end of the regular season that they got from those 4 games in the playoffs. They weren't exactly the easiest games. They had a triple OT in there. Then we have the 7-game series between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens that, by the way, is going to 7 games. So here's what a lot of people have been doing. They've been saying, if the Leafs win, I think this is going to happen in the Jet series. And if the Habs win, I think this is going to happen in the Jet series. And what I've seen a lot of is if the Leafs win, people think the Leafs will beat the Winnipeg Jets. If the Montreal Canadiens win, the Montreal Canadiens will lose to the Winnipeg Jets. But screw all that. As long as we're doing a round 2 prediction video while the first round is still going on, I'm going to make a pick. The Leafs are heading into a game 7. And I don't know if I'm the greatest analytical mind, but I'm not an idiot. They're going to lose. Montreal is going to win. They're going to play the Winnipeg Jets. Even though Montreal takes momentum into that series, maybe they get the first game in there. I have the Jets beating them in 6. Just to humor you, in case the Leafs happen to accomplish something they haven't pulled off for over a decade and a half, they lose to the Jets too. Not having Jake Muzzin, which it looks like it's heading down that road, is going to really, really hurt them. And it doesn't look like Tavares will be back soon enough. So they were up 3-1. Yep, 3 games to 1. So, what did you think of my picks? Leave a comment down below. Maybe I'll let you know what I think of your picks. Maybe I'll call you the silly goose. Anyway, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. Watch a Leaf game with Steve Dangle. Game 7, Leafs Habs. Monday night. The Sportsnet YouTube channel. We'll see.